Hello everyone. Welcome to Programming in C for Beginners. I'm Amit Kumar and this is the 22nd tutorial, Input Function. So friends, in our previous two tutorials, we have discussed about output function and we have also seen two programs in which we have used that output function. So today we are going to focus on input function. Just like printf is used to give output on the console or the terminal window, similarly scanf function is used to take input from console or terminal window. Now the syntax of scanf function is this one. Now you can clearly see in the scanf there are two sections. First section is format specifier and the second section is address of variable. These sections are separated by a comma. Now format specifier we have already seen in our previous tutorial and we will use the same format specifiers over here depending upon the data type of the variables that we are going to use. But here take care that we are going to use the address of variable. Now what does it means with the address of a variable? So let me explain you that with help of an example. Let's suppose this particular box is nothing but RAM. And let's suppose these different sections are actually representing 1 byte space. Okay, so we can clearly see this is a RAM of 5 bytes, right? So each and every byte in the RAM will have a certain address starting from 0 and it will continue because the size of this RAM is 5 bytes. So the last address will be 4. Okay, so this is how the memory is dealt. Definitely the memory is not of 5 bytes. We are taking this as for demonstration purpose, but you can consider a memory of many megabytes, right? So definitely the address will go in lakhs and crores, but I'm explaining it with 5 bytes only. So each and every location will have an address like this. And whenever we take some space, suppose in the program I have declared, right, int num is equals to 10. Right, so what will happen, it will take 4 bytes because in my system an integer type occupies 4 bytes of space. When our compiler will see that a num variable is to be declared of integer type, so according to my system it will occupy 4 bytes of space. So it will occupy these 4 locations. Now if integer is taking 2 bytes in your system, definitely it will occupy 2 bytes of space. And there are 4 addresses, right? There are 4 addresses in this space, in this memory space that is occupied for integer variable num, right? So definitely we can point to these 4 locations. We can point to this memory space by calling num in our program. But how the compiler is going to address these locations? So the compiler will come to this location according to the address, right? Now there are 4 addresses over here, 0, 1, 2, 3, occupied by the same memory space. So what will be the address of this num variable? So the starting address will be the address of this num variable, which is 0. So definitely the address of this num variable will be 0. Now this is just for the demonstration purpose, right? So it means that whenever any memory space is occupied, okay, definitely we refer to that memory space with the help of variable name. But our CPU, our compiler refers to that memory space with some address. So definitely each variable is associated with 3 things. First, variable name, second, variable address, and third, variable content. So in case if I declare a variable like this, int num is equals to 10. So what will happen in memory? Some space will be taken for this variable. Name of that space will be the variable name itself, and CPU will refer to that location. Whenever programmer will say num, then CPU will refer to 1001 location in the memory according to the address. So now whenever we are taking value from the user, we have to specify this address of the variable. Now the question is how we are going to specify the address. The point to note here is we must provide address of a variable as argument rather than providing the variable themselves. So in printf statement we were just writing down the name of the variable, but here in scanf we have to use the address of the variable. And there is a special operator, ampersand operator, which is used to get the address. Actually this operator is also known as address of operator, and that's why whenever we will use this operator with a variable, it will return the address of that variable. Hence following statement can be used to accept value in an integer variable. So suppose I have declared an integer variable var1. So definitely I can take value from the user in that var1 by specifying this scanf statement. Now clearly you can see we have used this ampersand with var1. So what does this whole statement means? It is saying that scan an integer and store the value at the address of var1. Now in case if we want to accept value in more than one variable, then the statement will look something like this. Suppose there are two variables and of different types. One is integer, one is float. So definitely we can write down two format specifiers, %d and %f, and the address of two variables like ampersand var1 and ampersand var2. Now note that nothing is placed between %d and %f, as well as the order in which the address of variables are passed. So you should not keep anything in between. So now we can take value from the user, but it is not completely true, as we would not be able to enter values in the Visual Studio Output tab. So okay, fine, we have understood the statement, we have understood the function, and we have also understood the syntax in which we have to write down that function. But still, if we will write down the program, we would not be able to accept value from the user. Now what is the reason for that? The reason is, right now we are executing our program and the output that we are getting is on the output tab of Visual Studio. But the output tab is read only tab. That means you can only read the text from there. You cannot write anything into it. And because you cannot write anything in the output tab, it would not be possible for the user to enter anything in the program. So what is the solution? The solution is we will run the program in terminal window rather than the output window. Now terminal window is not a read-only window, so we can even provide values in the terminal window, and hence we would make some settings in our Visual Studio Code so that we can run our program in the terminal window. So how to do that? We just need to follow these steps. Go to your file menu, go to preferences option, settings, extension, and there you have to type terminal in the search box, and then you will get the option of run on terminal. Now that option should be selected, and then after we can run our program on the terminal window, and then we would be able to take value from the user. And now it's time to see how to use scanf practically. So here we are in our Visual Studio Code IDE, and today we are going to accept value from the user as well. But before that, let me show you what are the settings that are to be changed so that we can run our program in the terminal window. Now this is the terminal window and not in the output window. Okay, so let me show you first how the output is coming in the output window. So for that I am running this sum of 2 program. So let's see that. So this is the sum of 2 program, and whenever we will click on this run, it will show the output in this output window and nothing is visible on the terminal. You can see that. Okay, so now we are going to make the changes, and then after our program will run in the terminal rather than running in the output. So for that we will go to file menu, preferences, settings, and then click on this extensions. And now we can type in the option of terminal to find that. So let's type in terminal, and here will be an option of whether to run code in integrated terminal. We just need to check this one and our work is done. Now let's close this setting and let's run this program one more time. And now you can see this program is running and showing the output in the terminal window rather than running in the output windows. Let me clear this output window and let me clear this terminal window as well. So nothing is there on the terminal. Now I'm running this program and you can see the output is coming in the terminal rather than in the output window. And definitely we can accept value in the terminal. So right now I am going to show you the same program of sum of 2 numbers and the program of average of 3 numbers. But in this program, rather than assigning value directly to the variable, we are going to accept the value from the user. So this is our tutorial 22. So I am going to create a new file in this section 4 with name tutorial22.c. and it is tutorial22a.c. So let it be tutorial22_a.c. and I'm copying this sum of 2 numbers program and pasting it here. Instead of assigning value to the variables, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take value, I'm going to accept value from the user. So first of all, I'm commenting it out, and then I'm asking the user to enter the value. So for that, I'm using scanf function over here. Now I need to accept two numbers. So there will be two %d and %d. And you see, I haven't used any symbol or anything, not even a white space to separate these format specifiers. Then after this double quotes, I will put comma and address of num1, comma again address of num2 and semicolon. Now, when I will run this program, it will ask two numbers on this terminal. So let me first clear this terminal screen. Okay. So how to clear that? CLS, and it's clear now. And now I will run this program. So you can see the cursor is there, and it is because it is accepting two numbers. So let me give the number. The first number is 1. We can give two numbers separated by space and separated by return key. So it's up to you. So I'm giving a space and entering the second number and enter. And clearly you can see 1 plus 2 is equals to 3. If I'm going to run it again, and now it is again asking two numbers, let me enter 12 space 13, and it will print 12 plus 13 is equals to 25. We can enter two numbers separated by return key as well. So I am running it again, and now I am entering 10, enter, 20, enter, and it will print 10 plus 20 is equals to 30. Now clearly we can enter any two numbers in this program and it will give us the sum of those two numbers. Now this program is more useful for the user than this program, and the reason is this program will always give output as 10 plus 20 is equals to 30. So whenever you will run this program, you will always get the same output. So definitely it's not useful for the user, because user cannot enter anything in the program. It is not accepting input from the user. But the program that we made today with the help of scanf is capable to accept any two integer number from the user and show the sum of two numbers. Now one last thing that I want to tell you is, so at this time, if you are running the program, the cursor is waiting right over there. As we are knowing we have to enter two numbers, it's not an issue for us. We will enter two numbers and the program will run. But any new user who don't know for what purpose this program is written will actually get confused as soon as he will see that cursor on the screen. So before you accept any value from the user, you should print something to the user. Now as soon as you will run the program, it will print enter two numbers. Now you can enter two numbers like 25 space 65 and enter, and it will print the sum of those two numbers. Okay, fine. So we learned today how to run our program on the terminal so that we can enter value over there. Second thing, we have seen how to use scanf and how to make our program more interactive for the user. In the next tutorial, we are going to see a program with input function definitely. And I insist that you should do the program of calculating average of three numbers in which you are accepting those three numbers from the user. So that marks the end of this tutorial. Hope to meet you in the next video tutorial. Till then, thank you and happy programming.